What's up, everybody? How you doing? Whoop! What happened? That's not right. Nope. Come on. There it is. Hi, everybody. Take two. Hit the wrong button. Let's see what's happening. All right. My audio's in the wrong spot. There's so many little details, you know? There's so many little details to get right when it comes to launching your stream. Like, honestly, it's a lot. Especially when you're switching things up halfway through, then you got to switch everything back, and then you've got like for me anyway, like just when I turn on the game, I use my headphones. But that means that I can't hear anything because of because it's changed over and everything's on default. And the way that OBS is working for me right now is that it doesn't automatically change from whatever my source is. I have to do it manually, which sucks. But anyway, welcome to the stream. I'm glad you guys are here. Hello, Samus. Hi, Ukulele. Hi, Dragon. How was your weekend? What were you up to? Was it fun or was it interesting? Did you get some rest? I had my Saturday was so funny. I taught class. And then immediately proceeded to go sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna take a little break. And then I took a break until supper. I don't know. I'd like to say I was really tired and I earned a rest or whatever, but I don't know. Hard to know if I was tired, lazy, or whatever. Test 1 2. Is it crunchy? Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Is it crunchy? Crunch, 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 crunch. I don't look like I'm topping out. Yeah. Is anybody else got a crunchy audio? Audio's fine? Okay. It's all you, Samus. Your speakers are crunchy. Here's a sentence I don't think I've ever said before. Your speakers are crunchy. I'm looking forward to today's talk, by the way. We get to chat about doing accountability partnership and how to get it started. I think to me it's super helpful because a lot of people out there talk about wanting an accountability partner, and then they sit in front of the person and they're like, okay, let's go, and then they don't know what to do. So that's gonna be fun. We're gonna jump back when we get onto Twitch. We're gonna jump back into Honkai Star Rail. Keep going on that main quest. I'm quite intrigued. I will say I'm quite intrigued with just the way that they decided to go about the new big bad. Because of debt. I just think that's so wild that the big bad is that the debt collectors are coming, and the debt collectors are using that as an excuse to take over the whole world and all the rest of that stuff, and then we have to battle. Now the problem is when it comes to that stuff, they really are in debt. So who's the bad guy? Who's the bad guy? The one who doesn't want to pay their debt? The people that come in and beat up the ones who are trying to collect the debt? The ones who are trying to collect the debt because for a planet that can't possibly pay it back? Like, what? Who's the bad guy? But anyway, yes. How was your weekend? I had an interesting Saturday where I didn't do much, and then had supper. We had turkey dinner. My kid came home. Wholesome L came home with a frozen turkey, rock solid turkey, and he's like, "I'm making this for dinner." I'm like, "I doubt it. Like, it's rock solid." And he goes, "It'll work." And it did. He stuck it in the oven, and it worked. I'm like, I was amazed. And I haven't had turkey in so long. That was so good. Had my cranberry, I loved it. So good. And then for the next few days, I get to have turkey sandwiches, which I love. I just need the B and the L. I don't have any bacon, and I don't have any lettuce, so I can't make myself a BLT. My weekend was tiring. Getting to argue with the VA. Still? Nah, really? Bummer. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear about that. I thought that it was, it's so interesting, Dragon, that, you think it's settled, and then it's not. And then you think it's settled, and you think it's not. And then you get it settled, and then your dad changes. And then you finally convince your dad, and then the VA changes, and then the doctor changes, and then the organ transplanter changes. Like, it just, like, it's maddening. I think, I don't know. I'd lose my marbles, man. It's really hard. Like, how do you not throw in the towel, or how do you not flip out and, Go grab a doctor and bring him home with you and be like, fix him, you know? Which I've seen. I think I've seen both of those things, at least in movies. Yeah, that's rough, dude. We're doing. We've been doing pretty good health wise of the last long time here, and so I haven't had to face anything too bad. Although, you know, I actually, you know what? I did a really healthy thing yesterday. I went up to the Gatineau Hills, which is we live in kind of Ottawa area. You cross the river, and then you go up a big hill, and at the top there's called Champlain Lookout, which is basically a big. It's just like the hill, and it just looks over like half of Ontario, and it's really cool. And you get to be really high, and you get to see all kinds of stuff, and you know, see really far. I mean, it was cloudy, so you could see super far, but you know what I mean. And then we went for a walk in the woods. I'll share some pictures on YouTube, not YouTube. I'll share some pictures on Twitter and in the Discord to let you know what it looked like. It was really pretty. I don't think the pictures are going to turn out that good because, again, gray day, you know, it wasn't like popping green and whatnot, but the leaves were lovely. It wasn't raining. It rained before and it rained after, but it didn't rain while we were going for a walk, and you can't complain about that. That was really good. Yo, Jones, good to see you, man. Yeah, so we've been doing, let me think. So Saturday was basically a restful day, and then Sunday. And then, of course, I wake up on Monday, and I think of all the, like, literally, just the flood of things that I have to do. And I'm like, I need a list. Just forget everything. I'm mad, fix one thing, and then something else always shows up. Yeah, like this non-profit organization, but we have to get clearance from the VA to do anything with them. That's, yeah. Jeepers, it's always something. These organizations that like, you know, like it's the veteran affairs, which I mean, like, you're supposed to help the veterans, and they're meant to be helpful. All these organizations are meant to be helpful, and they all seem to be shooting each other in the foot, or arguing about who has to help who and how little they can help. Saw the solar eclipse on Saturday. Played board games Sundays. Nice. Didn't even know there was a solar eclipse. I don't know much. Honestly, it's like I'm not even here because I'm only here. I haven't been paying attention to the news. I haven't been paying attention to Israel. I haven't been paying attention to Ukraine or Russia. I haven't been paying attention to anything, really. I'm trying to be here and be present and do the thing that I can control. I can't control any of that. Can't change any of that. You know, and so therefore I kind of miss a lot of that stuff. My parents, I call my parents every week, and you know, they're like, "Did you hear about it?" And I'm like, "No." Nope. Tell me about it. What happened? So, yeah, because they watch the news, right? They're old people who watch the news. They like the news. I don't. Never been a news guy. It's mostly because I talking to my daughter about this. I don't like small talk. She's like, I love small talk. Just sitting there like an elevator chatting about the day with something inconsequential with a person you've never met about something you can't do anything about. I love it. And I'm like, eh. That is the opposite of what I like. I can't small talk I'm not good at. So it's, you know, like I tend to avoid, I don't know, I just don't care about that kind of stuff. Next eclipse is a total eclipse on April 8th, east side of America, so maybe you could see it. Oh, really? Oh, dude, if it's on the east side, total eclipse here? That sounds fun. That I'd like to see. Did you have the kit, like where you pointed at the sky and then you look at the little thing on there, or did you have the glasses where you could like stare at the sun? How were you able to see it? Because you're not supposed to look at it. It'll burn your eyeballs out. Both sides of Israel think is messed up. Oh, dude, it so is, Dragon. So is. Oh, he's got welding glasses. Oh, that's cool. That's fun. It's funny. Like, okay, don't look at the solar eclipse. And everybody's like, I'm going to find a way to look at the solar eclipse, whether they like it or not. You put a photo in the images? Oh, did you really? Oh, cool. I haven't checked on Discord since yesterday. We were out and about yesterday, out with... we went to the city, and we were just in the city for like forever. So I came home and I just kind of petered out. Let me look at the Image share. Man, Everkillian makes some cool stuff. Oh, there's the eclipse. Oh, wow, cool. Oh, and you did the, like, you took a picture of a shadow so you see the little, like, the crescent shapes. Oh, that's fun. Cool. That's really cool. That's neat. See, I'm not a space guy. I've said this before. I'm not a space guy. Yeah, super broken. Yeah, it's based on Twitch, right? Which obviously still broken, but you know, I don't know. He already knows. Data God already knows, so I don't need to tell him again. But yeah, I'm not a space guy. Someone in special glasses. Oh, that's cool. I kind of like that one where you get the pinhole and you get to see it in a box. That's kind of sciencey. It's funny. I like science and I like science fiction and I like space science fiction and I like, you know, all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to actually like astronomy, I can't make myself care. I appreciate people that do. I get it. It's fascinating and very, very cool and whatnot. It's one of those things. Like, I think it's just because of the way that I am or the way that I was, the life that I've had. It ends up being like I have enough stuff in front of me. You know what I mean? That I'm like I can't deal with worrying about the planets or the orbit of the sun. And it orbits, I know. The Earth orbits, but so does the sun. So there. Called it Camera Obscura. Oh yeah. That's cool. All right. How was your weekend, Jones? What were you doing other than staring at the sun through special glasses? I used my hands and looked at the ground to see it in shadows. That's so neat. Like you did like a pinhole with your hand. That's kind of cool. That'd be smart. I know that if you're hard of seeing, that's the term. You know, if you have a hard time with your eyes and you make a little teeny tiny pinhole, you can sometimes really focus on something and make it clear because it's going through the tiny little pinhole. And then when you're distance, you can actually see it better. It's wild. I don't know how that works because, you know, science, but it does. I am going to flip over to the talk. There we go. Oh, hey, look at that. It's you guys right there. Actually, I can put you guys here because then when I put up that, it works good. Do. There we go. Do. Perfect. Well, you don't need money to make a camera obscura. Like literally, all you need is a piece of cardboard and with a pinhole in it, and then another like a piece of paper over here. And as long as they're like, you can like kind of focus it or whatever with those, and that's all you need. Like it's pretty simple. Just, I mean, she used a tree, right? Like Samus used a tree. But like yeah, it's not much different than just like doing this and then having the pinhole on the ground. Like it really isn't. Next Saturday we did our big airsoft game. Nice, that went well. Sunday I went back to work and it was pretty lame. Compared to the airsoft game, the work was lame. Yeah, I could get that. Understand. I was getting more irritated as the day went on. I can hear that. You know, it's how like it's for me anyway. I get that whole the I'm here, it's normal, must be me. Like what's going on inside of me that's making me, you know, think everybody's dumb and everything sucks. Ukulele, I tried to figure out the timer and the why stream elements was blocking everything. removing people because they put an emote in, and I couldn't figure it out, and I googled and I couldn't figure out what the issue was. So I didn't bother turning it on. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a non-stream elements chatbot. That's the only thing I can think of. I think Lumia has one, so I'll try Lumia. We'll see. It's built in somewhere. I just got to figure it out. But yeah, thank you for doing that, by the way. And yes, if you hit the subscribe button or the like button, then it really does help. Hopefully these videos are not just helpful, but they are, they're good enough. They're so good that you want to share them. They're so good that you actually want to hit the like button. I sent out a message through Coffee, which is where I send out usually my ministry updates and stuff. And I said, hey, if you want to help and you raise up my watch time, go to this playlist. It was the fundraiser playlist, and just to hit play, because it'll go for, I don't know, I think I put like a week's worth of videos in there, man. And so it'll just sit there and play in the background and then increase my watch time. But it's if people are like, I don't know, if people are like, I don't know, that's cheating or otherwise, but it would help. It does help. Internet's acting up? Not sure. Okay. Have a good reboot. Hey, Fortress. Long time no see, my dude. How are you? How's things? I know that the last time we talked, you were having issues with your which one was it? You had like a PC that you were trying to run. Arc? Was it Arc you were trying to run? And it just wasn't going, or like the computer was melting, or like it didn't have something. I can't remember. I'm on YouTube only now? No, I'm actually splitting it, Fortress. So I start on YouTube, and we go YouTube from noon to 2, and that's my my time. And then I go from 2 till 4 on Twitch. So I'm splitting the difference here. So I figured I'll put the content for learning and all the teaching and talking on YouTube and just keep it here. And then I will put the gaming stuff only on Twitch. It's a risk. It's goofy. I've lost half my viewers, and it's so, and half the people don't even know I'm doing it. So but I'm like, you know what? This is gonna be something that I'm gonna have to do. I have to figure out how to do YouTube, and I'm pretty sure we're all gonna end up here anyway. So I may as well get it in advance. Need to stress test my internet connection over Starlink, so I set up your streams. There you go. See, yeah, there you go. That is a stress test without question. And I stream in 2K now. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm in 2K. It's I'm in high res, man. Now, granted, this window here, like my camera's only 1080, but I'm only in the corner, so it works out. Still working on the server setup, having network problems, something blocking connections, and I can't figure out where. Yeah, I hear that, man. Between all the software and all of everything that's running and all the 2 computer jazz and whatnot, if you get that one little thing off, like for example, I use an IP radio to send my audio signal from my streaming PC over to my gaming PC so I can hear the alerts. It works great until I updated something and I changed the router, and it changed the IP address of all the stuff I was working with, and I'm like, it's not working. Why is it not working? Turns out, it was a stupid IP change, and that's all I had to fix. Yeah, so I'll tell you what, we're gonna get going here on talking about accountability and partnerships and whatnot. But I want to see how you guys are doing first. How was your weekend? How was your haven't seen you in a long time, Fortress, so how's life been for the last month and a half here? I'll tell you, class has been really good. It's been such a blessing to me, and I feel kind of bad saying this, but on Friday nights, I have there's 3 people in the class. There was supposed to be more, but people dropped out and whatnot. So I got 3 people in the class, and we're having a good time. It's really intimate. We're able to talk more than we would, and I'm able to teach and ask questions and whatnot. And it's more flexible because I don't have to cram in a review every single week. We could take a break, but I get practice on Friday so that I can teach on Saturday. And the Saturday one I'm actually recording so that we can send it out and use it as so other people can teach the course. so that if you need to run it at a different time or whatever, it can be there for you. And so I get this practice run on Friday night, and then I get to do the official run on Saturday. And I kind of feel bad that I'm using Friday as the practice run. I mean, I still do it's still the same thing. It's just that if I mess up with them, it helps me not mess up in the morning. I feel kind of bad, but at the same time, it really helps. Decided instead of hosting a game server, I also want to sell off resources, virtual machines. Nice. So lots in the pot to do. You got to have a really beefy computer to be able to sell a virtual machine to someone, right? Because that's what Amazon has, if I'm not wrong. Been doing good. I graduated with my bachelor's degree as magna cum laude with honors. Nice. Good job. Well done, Citizen Fortress. Magna cum laude with honors. That's very good. That's hard to do. Kids doing good. All seems well. How's a while back you were talking about, you had a job situation and money issues and stuff. Did that get ironed out? Did you get do you have full-time income and everything's kind of working out? Or are you still banging away at trying to figure out all the ways that you can, find pay? Decent trade-off, drafted the training, but more personal attention. Yes, I think so too. Granted, it's still a lot of chatting, or a lot of teaching, because there's tons of content in every single class, right? It's just so much. I throw so much into it. It's easy for me to talk for an hour and 15 minutes and still feel like I just blasted through it. So hopefully it's helpful. I'm finally getting feedback for the book. I got a few people that have already sent their feedback, and so I'll edit up the book and make it as pretty as possible and helpful as possible, and then it'll be ready for release soon. After that, I'll send it to the editor. Then it'll be ready for release. Ironed-ish. I have a full-time job now. Nice. And it's really, really stable so far. Good. I still want something in cybersecurity, but at this job, I'm not worried about being fired. Far out! Good. That's good. It's nice, because for a while there, with the people that were, part of the community and whatnot, there were a lot of, I'm losing my job, I'm making big changes, I've got, the people in my life are dying, I've got, some sickness, I've got some loss, relationship issues. Like, it seemed like for a while there, it was really heavy. And, to kind of have a few where it's like, yeah, actually, I've had a good few weeks, and yeah, actually, my job is doing okay. And yeah, actually, now, I mean, granted, you look at, and by the way, hi, Data God. I didn't say hello yet. Hello, Data God. Not everybody's doing great. Like, Dragon's obviously very frustrated with the VA and all that stuff, which you think that would iron itself out after what, 2 years? How many years you've been doing this now? At least, But yeah, we can't all be great all the time. But I'm glad for a season where we can kind of go, hey, you know what? Things have been okay. For the first time in years, my coworkers and manager are like, Yerk, you're doing really well. You're the top performing employee, and I've got like 4 appreciation awards. Oh, dude, rock and roll. See, I feel the same way about this job as that. Basically, in my previous life, full-time, church pastor or whatnot, it's hard to know if anything's going well, and you don't often get, at least I didn't often get, accolades or thanks or whatever when it came to, knowing my job was doing a good job, right? It was always something. But in this, it feels like, I do things, here's some things, and then people respond and go, that's good, that helped me, that affected me, keep that up. And it's way quicker. It's been an absolutely encouraging, just the Bible, balm to the soul, man. It's been awesome. It feels so good to have people kind of pat you on the back and go, yeah, no, you do know what you're doing. You really do. And you are helping, because you can really feel like you're just throwing stones into a pond and they're disappearing whenever you're like, I'm trying my best and it's not working. And then you try your best somewhere else and it does work. Hi, DJ. Good to see you. Glad you're here. How's DJ's weekend? I'll tell you what, I'll pray, and then we're going to jump into what we're talking about today. God, thank you for your love and for your care, for your attention. Thank you for seasons of rest. We know that they can't all be like that. This world is difficult and has trouble. We know that. But there's also times just of grace where we walk through, we're in the field and we are fed and we feel fruitful and successful and things are going pretty good. And that's good. Yes, it's a temptation to slip away from you. It's a temptation to think that maybe we're the one doing the good job. And the suffering and the difficulty tends to bring us focus, but we're just thankful for those times of rest. I pray for those who are going through that we would be able to see you in it and be drawn more towards worship than forgetting that you're there. Pray for those who are not in it, that are still facing physical, mental, relational difficulties, financial difficulties, schedule difficulties, that you would help them to be patient, to be wise, to be open, to share their burdens, and that we who are doing okay can help with them with their burdens. Thank you for giving us a balance in that way. There are people who are doing well, people who have lots of resources, and people who are not doing that great, and people who have not that many resources, and we can work together on that. You're amazing, God. You have it all in hand. We trust you. In Jesus' name, amen. Weekend was good and bad, so neutral. It all balanced out. Yeah, I can understand. Hey, Hatersaurus. I'm going to sleep. I'll watch this later. All right, rock and roll. Thanks for dropping in and saying that. I really do. And I mean, I appreciate that. We were just talking about the encouragement from people and kind of showing up and going, hey, that's encouraging. That's super nice. I appreciate it. There we go. That's better. All right, let's talk about this thing. Today we're talking about how to get started with an accountability partner. Now, the leadership training here, right? The leadership training here is meant to be given to leaders, and how the leader would go and find their new mentoree or mentee, if whatever you want to call it, right? And this is the list of steps to how do you find a mentee, and then how do you get going? Well, it's easily adaptable into how to get started with an accountability partner, or how to get started with an important relationship in your life that you actually want to take purposefully and grow together. Whether you can be study buddies, or you can be working towards the same training, or you can whatever it is. How do I maximize this, and how do we hold each other accountable and work towards the goal that we're trying to work towards? Well, here's 12 steps that we can go through that can help you out. Been dealing with VA close to 6 years. Has it really? 6 to 8 years. Wow. That's crazy. Bummer, man. So number one, so you individually pray for God to help you own the vision for mentoring other leaders. That's what the mentoring one is. And if you're watching this and you want to know about mentoring, it really is about, spark my heart and fan the flame of me desiring to want to go out there and connect to other people and help them. Because as a leader and as an organizational developer, or as someone who's in charge of stuff, you're busy. You're busy all the time. And so to be able to say, okay, I'm going to carve relational space and carve time and not do as much and not focus on other things and focus on this one person who's not developed yet, who I get nothing out of, but instead I'm pouring my life into, it's a big commitment. But to be able to say, it's important, God, help me to see it's important. I think many people don't. One of the reasons that people are in a real tough situation in church, out of church, in life, out of life, is because we lack that mentoring relationship above us, right? We know that there's a war on dads right now. It's just a lot of people don't have dads. A lot of people never knew their dads. A lot of people had bad dads. It's just to have you have no one as I'm speaking as a guy, right? No one in your life to really look up to and go, this is how I'm supposed to be a man. Same thing with with women, or any adult child relationship. They're busy, they're gone, they're distracted, they're addicted, they have stuff in their life. And so the idea of purposefully pouring themselves into the young person, they don't do it. Instead, they send them off to organizations. Here, go to youth group, and go to this school, and go to this training program, and go to this camp, and and they end up getting information, but when it comes to that like one-on-one intimate relationship knowledge stuff, they lack it. In churches we have this problem too, is that, you know, people come and they listen to the sermon, and people go to the classes, and people go to the events, and people do the thing, whatever the service is. But when it comes to that, you know, like this old person and this younger person, they meet together regularly because this one knows what he's doing about this stuff. This one needs to know, and they understand the importance of raising up the next generation. It just doesn't happen. It's just not happening. Happens some places, but very, very rare. Same thing with accountability, right? There are how many people talk about accountability, talk about saying, you know, they understand they're messed up in some kind of way. Like they've got this sin they got to deal with, or they got to, you know, this habit they want to deal with. They want to improve themselves in some way, or they feel like they've got a bigger system and bigger thing to do in their life, and they want to get better at it. So that, you know, like they understand that, they feel that. But when it comes to actually building the relational equity, or using a relationship and trying to really become friends with and connect with and purposeful relationship with another person, a lot of people are scared to do it. They don't want to do it. They're frustrated by the idea of having to even depend on someone, and so they just go to a YouTube video. Oh, I'll watch YouTube. Or they go to a book, or they go to a class, or they go to a group project or whatever, and they just think, okay, that's going to be my accountability. I'll make sure the YouTube, and on the rest of it will be on my shoulders. But the truth is that there are things in our lives we just need another person looking over our shoulder, another person that we report to. And so step one is always to ask God to say, open up my heart for the desire for godliness, for accountability, to get better, to become more Christ-like, to get to be more effective in this world. Like, just make me want to go out and find a person that I can connect with, right? Oh, yes, that person would be great. Help my eyes be open to it. And then when it happens, help me to see who it is. And then when I see who it is, help me take the risk to be able to start that relationship. A lot of times we just, despite the fact of knowing that we have something we want to change, we don't go forward and say, okay, how can I do this with another person? It's just the way that God built the world, is that we need other people. Once you kind of change your heart and got your heart settled on that, select a potential mentee or group of mentees from your circle of influence, or for the accountability partner, select your accountability partner or partners from your circle of influence. So again, this goes against that idea of, well, I'm just going to use YouTube, or I'm just going to use software, or I'm just going to use my calendar or an alarm clock. I'm just going to use whatever app, that's going to be my accountability. Go to your circle of influence, the place that you are directly connected to people that that you have walked with a little bit, that know you a little bit or a lot, that you know them, that you've had experiences together within your circle of influence, instead of just kind of like going out there into the world or sending a resume out or just kind of going, hey, I'm looking for an accountability partner anywhere. Anybody want to do that? Look directly in front of you to the people that God has already brought into your life, right? For a mentor, that means, kind of going, okay, who's in my church? Who's in my building? Who's in my job? Who's in my neighborhood? Who's in my family that already is there that I know could use some dedicated assistance, some dedicated growing. And for that matter, for an accountability partner, going, who do I already know? Right? We're always looking for this perfect person. This they're going to be perfectly godly and know us great and have just the most wonderful relationship with God, and they're going to have they're going to be non-judgmental, and they're going to be super wise, and like we just have this thing in our mind which makes us look at other people for that could be good accountability partners and go, well, no, you're not perfect, so therefore I'm not going to talk to you. You're not perfect, and you don't really get me, and you don't, you've got problems. But the whole point of partners is, yeah, you've got problems. So really, as you pray about this, kind of look at it and go, who around me would be the best of the people around me, right? I'm going to go talk to them. Select somebody or a few somebodies from there and begin the conversation. Begin the conversation. Basically, how do you do that? Well, you just say, hey, listen, I've got this issue where I've been looking for an accountability partner for, this issue or this growth period or this time or because I have this problem and I want to get over it and I'm looking for an accountability partner. I've been praying about it. It's important to me. And I was wondering, based on what I know about you and based on what I've seen, how you communicate and based on what I've seen in your heart, I think you could be good. I think you'd be a good accountability partner. So can we have that discussion? And if that person is like, no, I'm stacked, I can't do that. Or if that person's like, no, I've got my own crap to deal with, I can't deal with that right now. Then okay, cool. Then, you try someone else. But there's a good chance that person on the other side, you're answering that person's prayer too. Because they're going to be like, I also want an accountability partner. And I also have some things I've been asking God to show me in the right direction. Been too chicken to say anything. And because you opened up the dialogue, suddenly, it's happening. Have the courage to step out there and go, you know what, among the people that I know. One of the things that we kind of mess up, and we being, average people, I guess, is that we tend to opt for the leaders in our organization for accountability partners, right? We're like, okay, well, I want an accountability partner, so I'm going to use the elder, the pastor, the boss, the general manager, my office manager or whatever. That's who I want to do it. And so we go up the chain and we ask that person. We get the same answer all the time. And that's, I would love to do that, but I'm too busy. I'm already doing that with 2 other people or whatever. And so you kind of go, well, there's nobody around because you're not looking within the people that are, quote unquote, on your level, right? That are struggling with the same thing as you and are attendees or attenders or normal workers or whatever it is. You just kind of like, well, I don't want to deal with them. I want somebody up in charge. Let me encourage you to look around to the people that are more like you, because they're not trying to mentor you. They're not trying to, bring you up to their level. They're not trying to help you. All you're trying to do is build together an accountability structure so that you can both kind of help each other get over whatever the issue is. It should be more of a partnership between equals than it is a upper lower relationship. Number C, spend 2 initial meetings to discuss both your expectations and goals. All right. So it's interesting. It says 2, and I think I know why. Because what ends up happening is you come to the first meeting and maybe you don't know each other that well, or maybe you do, and you end up just kind of chatting a bunch. You kind of tell your story. You kind of talk about a little bit what's going on, what's your life, what's your your daily life, and this is my issue and this is how it's been and whatnot. Like that's enough for one meeting. It really is. Just kind of starting the conversation, because you could start the conversation and the person's like, I can't deal with that. If I get into that, I'm going to lose my mind, or I'm going to be tempted, or I'm, that's not something I can handle. And they're, poof, done. It's over. So if you walk into the first conversation and you're like, okay, this is like an interview process. Now I've tried to think about what job I want, and I've looked around for the jobs that are in my area, and I applied for the job, and now I'm sitting in the interview. And this is my chance to kind of go, okay, is this somewhere I want to work? For that matter, is this someone I want to partner with? Is it someone that I think that can handle what I'm dishing out? And so you kind of test the waters and you share a little bit. You don't dump the truck, obviously, but like, this is what I'm dealing with, and you see what happens. Then the next meeting is where you really buckle down and go, okay, this is my expectation, right? I want to get over this habit, or I want to start doing this thing, or I want to, just kill this part of my life, or I want to graduate at this level of, grades, or I want to get a promotion, or I want to finally get to that place where I can be confident enough to take the training. Whatever your thing is, right? You get there and you're like, okay, now that we kind of know each other a little bit and we've kind of agreed that we're going to do this, let's talk about it. This is what I want out of this relationship. My goal is this. And the other person goes, cool, my goal is this. And you write those down and you're like, okay, I get what we're doing. That way, it's not about, can you just hold me accountable to some general thing? Hey, Phoenix, good to see you. It's not just okay, hold me accountable to sin, or to get better in life, or can you ask me some questions? How you doing this week? get real specific. You guys know how big I am on specificity. That's because there's power in specificity, right? I am a bad student and I don't do my work properly. I need you to help me to do that. I don't get up early enough. I'm always late for things. I'm trying to lose weight and I do not, I haven't been successful in it. So therefore, can you, this is, and I want to get down to, this is the weight I want to get down to. And this is the date I want to get to it by, or this is my graduation date. Or when I go and ask for this raise, my performance review is coming up in 6 months. That means I need to figure out a plan and I need to do really good at work so I can walk in there and I can go, this is what I've been doing and this is how I've been improving. Be really specific about that. Same thing if you're a mentor-mentoree relationship. Like really being like, okay, this is what I expect out of you. This is where I'm, this is how long we're going to meet for, and this is what we're going to be doing, and this is what I expect from you. You're going to read the book, you're going to do the homework, you're going to show up to the meetings, you're going to be honest with me, you're going to have, you're going to share when you screw up, and I'm going to share my life with you, and I'm going to go deep with you, and I'm going to tell you things that I don't tell other people. That's kind of what we're doing, and so that way we can get to the goal of, whatever, a longer term goal, obviously, like you graduating school, or you, growing into be a, whatever your job title is, your ministry is, or whatever the thing is, right? Like we're shooting to make you a great husband, a great whatever. It's the whole point is to be specific about those expectations. D, for the mentors, it says, cast vision to them for spiritual reproduction and leadership multiplication. And basically that means like you tell them the reason that we're doing this is not just so that you can be, it's not just for you. It's so that you can do this for others. I want you to be a mentor so that you can mentor others. I want to feed you so much that you're able to feed others. That's the plan. I think for the accountability structure, though, it's more, explain why accountability is important to you and for your spiritual life goals, right? So keep in mind, this is the setup. You kind of like, okay, I want to do this, and this is the person I'm going to do it with, and now we met together, and like this is what I want to do. Now this is why it's important to me, right? This is why it's important to me. I've told you the problem, and I've told you what I want to fix. Let me tell you why it's important, right? It's because, I know I've watched my dad screw up his entire life, or my family has a history of heart disease and I don't want to have a heart attack when I'm 45 like so many others. Or I want to get married and I don't have enough money and resources to do it, so I want to set myself up properly. Or I'm addicted to this and it's killing me and I really hate my life right now, so I need help with this. It's eating me alive, right? Not just this is what I want to do, but this is why I want to do it. Right? This is why it's important. And why is it important to say that? Because it sparks the other person to go merely beyond, oh, they want me to check in every other day and we're going to have a little meeting, to this is really important. Like if I don't follow through on my side of the accountability, I'm really letting them down. Like they're not going to achieve their life goal. They're not going to get to that next level of the job. They're not going to become the thing they want to be. They're not going to get to the wife or the husband that they want to have, whatever it is, right? Like, it's not just about the thing we're working on. It's a bigger goal. And it helps the accountability partner to frame that into saying, okay, this is why I need to take this seriously. E, determine what tool or resource you will study together and use to communicate. I put at the end there, right? So take the time to be like, okay, if this is the thing we're dealing with, right? We're going to use this tool. And there are a million books out there that you can grab, right? You take the leadership development, or you take personal development, you use some kind of self-help book or whatever. Like it actually super matters. But my point is that like there's going to be a book for you. There's going to be a resource for you. There's going to be a worksheet or a workbook or a video series or something for you guys to work through together. Now, why do you need that? Why can't you just sit there, have coffee, talk about your life? Because the problem is that you are, you're on equal terms. This isn't You guys are trying to figure stuff out. So therefore, you're trying to elevate each other. So in order to elevate each other, you need outside input to help you with this problem. And so you're able to grow, so you can grow. So you need to have something. It doesn't need to be, a massive tome. It can be something simple. Like you think of AA, right? They don't have, here's, an encyclopedia to read. But they do have resources and they do have things to read and that'll help them along in their meetings and their chats. It's just, it's meant to be a guide. From the mentor perspective, you still need a tool. It's just the mentor is the one that's picking it, right? It's not you guys picking it together like accountability. It's the mentors going, okay, we're going to be going through this, it's whatever my favorite resource or whatever leadership guide or whatever system. And that's what we're going to be doing. So here's how it works. This is what we're going to study together. This is how much homework it'll be. But I also said in E here, and use to communicate. Determine what tool you'll use to communicate. Important for accountability structures, because if it's like, man, I'm going to call you on the phone. Well, I don't talk on the phone. I can't, because I'm in a room. And if I'm speaking out loud, other people are going to hear me, and I don't want them to hear me, so we can't talk on the phone, right? Well, send a text. Well, if you send me a text, I'm going to miss it, because I get about 100 texts a day. So how can we work this out? Figure out the tool that you're going to use to communicate with each other, and use that consistently. Maybe you get your own separate Discord. Maybe you have your own, special app, like some kind of secure app that's different than your messenger app, whatever it is. Figure out the way you're going to communicate with that person in a special way, so you both agree and you both see it and it's meaningful to you. Obviously, you're going to meet together face to face now and again, whether it be through video chat or be through, right at coffee. But normally this is what you're going to use to communicate, because that way it's part of the accountability relationship. It's not just another text that came in. It's, hey, this is from the person I committed to. Let's do this. Let's get to that quick. Let's take a look at it. And because if you don't do that, you're not gonna communicate, or you're gonna miss each other. You can also, here's a good calendar, right? Kind of, okay, this is also where we're gonna, this is how often I expect communication. F, ask for commitment. This is a big one. We always forget this one. We love asking for help. We love asking for relationships. Hello, Stephen Brown. What we forget so often is to ask for commitment. And that involves two things. One is literally asking, saying, listen, this is really important to me. So, I'd like you to agree that you're going to do this with me, right? That we're going to hold each other accountable, and we're going to be honest with each other, and we're going to be regularly connecting and whatnot. I like that. I expect your commitment. And the second thing is for this long, and that's G, determine how long and how often you'll meet, right? Part of the commitment is to say, we're going to meet this many days, this many, on this many, for this many hours. And this is how long we're going to be doing it, for that long, a season, 6 months or a year, or for the next 6 weeks. It doesn't matter. Like whatever you think it's going to be, ask for that commitment. You don't have to write it down. It doesn't have to be a contract or whatever, although some people do. In fact, when I teach small group class, what I teach is that they do a small group covenant. And on that small group covenant, they actually have like 5-6 things. Like we're going to, make sure we don't talk about each other's stuff outside of group. Make sure we all show up to group on time. We're all going to work towards serving each other and doing the content and whatnot. Like it's part of the group. And then you sign it, you pass it around, and everybody signs it. And it's not because you kind of hold people to it. Okay, we're going to sue you if you don't do that. It's because somebody had to put their name down, and you realize that it's taking it seriously. All right, no worries, citizen. So the level of commitment you have, or the level of willingness to talk about commitment that you have, is going to be directly proportional to how successful your group is. Like honestly, I kid you not, the lower the bar is set for this group or for this relationship, the less chance it's going to work. The higher the bar is set, the more chance it's going to work. It sounds opposite. You think it's going to be, well, if we make it easy to meet, and we don't really hold each other too much, and we don't, we're not in each other's faces, then it should be easier to meet. And the answer is no. The opposite. It's if we have high expectations and high understanding and an actual structure, and we've asked for commitment, then we know how to frame that, and we know when to show up, and we know how long to show up for, and we know how to take it seriously. You'll get more out of it the better you do in determining those goals and determining the commitment level. I think level F is the main problem for me about having accountability. It's always commitment. Yeah, you mean, which side do you mean, DJ? Do you mean that you have a hard time committing, or other people have a hard time committing to you? Which one are you talking about? So here's the next one. Be prepared and set goals. We talked about goals a little bit, explain why, this is what I want to do, but we'll narrow it down. Other people committing to you? It could be, DJ, that part of the reason is because you haven't explained your goals and the reason that you want to meet, like literally. So if you get to the F, ask for commitment, but you haven't prayed that God would open your heart for the right person and accountability, and to open your eyes to see what to do. You haven't selected an accountability partner from around you that you understand could be the right person. You didn't take time to really share with each other why you're doing what you're doing and what your expectations are. You didn't explain to them why your goal is important, why your spiritual, whatever you're doing, is important to you. And you didn't have a tool that you'd committed to working together and you'd agreed to communicate with, then saying, can you commit? What are they committing to? Right? A lot of times, and I have seen this, I've done it. And that is, hey, can we meet together? I need, I want to chat more because I just need to talk about this kind of stuff. And I left it at that. And what ends up happening is the person gets busy, and you don't know when you're going to meet, and you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't know, like this person doesn't contact you because they don't know when they're supposed to, and you don't contact them because you're trying to either hide your sin, or you're trying to, just pretend to be busy so you don't get yourself, in trouble with your accountability partner, and it falls by the wayside. But if you can do all those, steps A through E, then you have something to commit to. Is this in order we have to do? If so, yes, that it kind of is in order. Hi, Carla. It kind of is in order. Yes, I believe this is a chronological order for how to do this. And if you did skip all the other ones, that's why it didn't work. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the problem. For accountability for struggling with porn addiction. Yeah, well, that's it, right? So if you have, like, God, open my heart and open my mind and open me for the willingness to share this problem with someone else. Because one of the problems with porn addiction is that we tend to keep it secret, keep it far away, keep it at night, don't tell anybody, right? All we're going to do is we're going to pretend that it never happens, and nobody will ever know. So God, help me to open my mouth to actually talk to somebody about this. Bring someone into my life and help me see who that is, right? Find somebody around that is actually around you. And literally, there are lots of people literally in the chat right now who also struggle with porn addiction. Be able to go, find somebody that's in the group. Hey, and then you sit there and you go, hey, this is what I want. I'm addicted to porn. I keep looking at it. I can't stop. It's affecting my marriage. It's affecting my life. It's affecting my spiritual life. It makes me feel gross, and it screws up my ability to talk to women. It's a big problem, and I need to deal with it. If I don't deal with it, I know it's going to wreck some stuff. So therefore, help me. The tool that we're going to use together is right? You could do, Every Man's Battle. That's the famous one. Grab Every Man's Battle. We're going to read that together. Page at a time, paragraph at a time. You go read the whole chapter. We'll talk about it when we get here. And our commitment to each other is going to be, we're going to meet once a week you can even pick like your worst hour, right? Your wife is in bed, your kids are in bed. It's, you're stressed out at the end of the week. It's, Friday at 9 p.m. And it's like, man, that's like my worst time. You go, okay, let's 9 p.m. You're going to call me at 9 p.m. because that's usually when I'm about to go do something stupid. So if I'm going to do something stupid, I may as well talk to you instead. Be prepared to set specific goals. And this is, be prepared, A, that's one, and set goals is B, which is when you show up to the meeting and you have this conversation, you have thought this through, right? That's another thing, DJ, is we think that we're just going to automatically know this, or the other person's going to automatically know what we're supposed to do, or it'll just happen. No, actually, you got to think this through. This is what I want, and this is why I want it, and this is when I want to do it, and this is where my free time is, and this is the things that could get in the way. Therefore, I can come to this meeting and go, this is what I want. And then to set goals, this is practically with numbers, SMART goals. You all know SMART goals. Number that something is actually achievable, that I can actually, tell people about, that has, when I get to the end of it, it will have done something purposeful, instead of just like, I want to be a better person, like I want to be clean for 6 months, right? That's the goal, 6 months. If I can make it to 6 months, then I will feel like I've really beat this thing. So we're going to meet for at least that long, and you're going to talk to me on Fridays at 9 for that long. So that's, 32 weeks or whatever. 52 divided by 2? 26 weeks. And so that's what I want. Can you commit to that? And I'll do the same for you. Discuss and apply the truths together from the resource and the life lessons, right? So it's one thing to read the book, and this is, again, I see this so often with, especially dudes. I'll talk about dudes because, I am one and I know a bunch. They'll agree to read the book, but then they won't talk about it, right? Everybody, okay, here's the book. Everybody go, okay, I'll go buy the book, and then I'll read the book. And then you sit there and you go, okay, what'd you get out of the book? And either they're going to say, I didn't read it because I don't like reading, or they're going to say nothing. And they won't talk about it, and they won't glean the insights or share what their convictions were, or what part was interesting or important or seemed to catch them off guard, or they disagreed with it. Because that was happening when you were reading it, but they don't want to bring it out. So you have to be willing to have a conversation about the things that you're going through. And I don't mean life stuff. I mean literally the resource, right? This is what I thought, and this is what I did, and this is what I said, and this is what I was frustrated with, and this is why it affected me. So what does that mean for us together? Well, it means that, we should probably alter this part of our arrangement, or this needs to be added, or this needs to be subtracted, or, really apply the truths together. If you have the courage and you really want to change, it means that you don't just grab the tool, it means you use the tool, right? You got to use the tool. It's meant to be a discussion. It's not meant to be simply go, yep, I read my chapter, ask me no more questions. That fear of revealing what you were thinking, revealing your convictions, revealing your fears, revealing your sins, that's what's keeping you in the dark. That's what's keeping you unhealthy. That's what's keeping you unsuccessful. That's what's keeping you addicted. It is the darkness. It's the fact that you're keeping it in the shadows. The moment you drag that thing into the light, like, okay, I'm going to tell somebody. Even if it hurts, I'm going to rip that Band-Aid off and I'm going to tell somebody. You shine light on that issue, suddenly it gets way smaller. It shrivels up, and you see that it wasn't as big as you thought it was. It was just a great big shadow that you were scared of, and it turns out you can deal with it. There's a resource. There's a person. There's accountability. There's you sharing. There's prayer. There's someone to care for you. And man, I think we can beat this. But as long as you're being secretive, yeah, I read the chapter. It was pretty interesting. I really liked that part, with that was absolutely non-consequential to me. Let's argue about, this interpretation of the scripture instead, and completely go sidetrack on what this whole thing is. That's not helping you. You got to discuss and make the decision to discuss. J, evaluate each other's progress regularly. Evaluate their progress. As a mentor, we talked about this, the importance of evaluation, like literally going, okay, in 3 months, we're going to talk about how you're doing on the goals that we set and how you're doing on the life plan that we made. This one here, for if your accountability, it's literally ask the question regularly. It doesn't have to be, it can be weekly. If you're really going through some stuff, whether it be addiction or going through some really hardcore things, then that weekly check-in is important. tell me, how did you do this week? And did you spend money outside of your budget? Did you just go scream at somebody? Did you take off at night and freak out? And, like, did you do the thing that you weren't supposed to do? And how many times? Having to, again, drag it into the light suddenly reveals it and suddenly makes it manageable. But as long as it's a secret, as long as it's out there in the dark, it seems impossible to deal with. So you have to make a commitment to determine when you're going to evaluate your progress, right? Regularly. K, help them find a potential leader to mentor. So if you're a mentor and you've gone through this stuff together and you've been working through the content, you've been there for a while, then you kind of go, okay, you know what? Time for you to go find somebody that you're going to connect to, somebody that you should pour your life into. A teenager, somebody who is part of your job, or somebody that you're connected to, whatever. Time for you to start doing this with someone else. As an accountability partner, I left this in here on purpose because it's like, oh yeah, help each other find a mentor, right? Your accountability partner is like, I'm not your mentor, I'm your accountability partner. Let's go find somebody who's going to lead us, help us. You know what I mean? Let's go find somebody who's willing to take us to the next level and actually mentor us through this. If you can do that for even that other person, like, I don't like this guy, or I don't resonate with this guy, or I don't really see this guy very often, but I think you and him would really click, right? Like, once you talk to this guy, I think you guys would really click. He said he had this problem, and therefore he might be able to help you out. If you can do that, you're going to be able to elevate each other far beyond an accountability partnership. And finally, L, pray for the Holy Spirit's anointing and launch them to multiply or conquer the issue together. Really, like, spend time in prayer, right? Individually, God, make this work. Help this work. Help me be honest and help me be committed to what we said. Help me be open and to tell them what was actually happening. Help me do the homework. And then pray together with that person. You don't have to sit there and spend 55 minutes in prayer and then 5 minutes talking, but be willing to say, like, okay, when we sit down for coffee at Tim Hortons or at Starbucks or wherever you go, I'm going to pray. We're going to pray for a solid 2 minutes here because I think it's important. We're going to ask for God's help during this meeting. It's expected. It's expected that we're going to start in prayer. You're going to pray first, I'm going to pray second, or you'll pray this week, I'll pray next week. Because if God's not part of this, if we're not committing this to God, if he's not the foundation of what we're doing, well, then we're screwed. All we're going to do is lead each other astray, or we're never going to be able to pull this off because we're not the ones who have the strength to pull off mortifying sin and killing the bad stuff or changing our lives. God does that. We're just trying to work with the pattern that he has set and work within the system that he put together, us being partners. You see that all the way through Scripture. But you need God to be part of it. So, and this is another struggle I know for dudes. I don't know if women have this problem. But I know for dudes, they really struggle as guy meeting to pray, right? But get a bunch of pastors in the room, it's not going to be a problem. Get a bunch of, elders and whatever in the room, it's not going to be a problem. But your average two guys meeting together, it feels weird because, and it shouldn't feel weird, but it does. So if you start with that commitment, you have that goal and you discuss that issue together and you're going to go, hey, we're going to start every meeting and we're going to pray. Doesn't have to be forever, but we are going to pray. And I think it's critically important we start like that. You understand that? Yes, I understand that. You sit down, you have your coffee, and the first person goes, okay, here, let's talk about it. And the other person goes, nope, we said we were going to pray. Yeah, that's right, let's go. Do it. Just do it. Again, specificity, being open to communicating more than you ever usually do. If you're really serious about wanting an accountability partner, if you're serious about getting over that sin or that issue, if you're serious about getting promoted or finding that spouse or going to the next level in your job or whatever you want it for, if you're serious, this is how to do it. And you can get it done. You can do that now. You can do this today, right? If you're in the Discord, there are people that are in there right now and you know them well enough. You're like, all right, I know this person and I trust them, and I've seen them in chat and I've seen them in Discord, and maybe I've even been on the stream. They seem like a cool person, and therefore I get that they have an issue, but I think they're trustworthy. I'd like to have a conversation with them. I'm going to reach out. And then you do. And then you go through this system, right? There are a lot of people out there that all it takes is the first person to just start talking, right? Hey, I've struggled. Me too. Wow. Let's get together, and then you're off to the races. It's the secrets that kill us. It's the laziness that kills us. It's the individualism, that radical, I can do it myself pride that's killing you. You gotta stop that and connect to people. You need people, and we have them. There are people in the Discord, a couple hundred at this point, and some of them. Why not start there? Tell you what, let me pray, and then we'll jump into the AMA part, the Ask Me Anything, and the discussion about any of the kind of stuff, and bring up whatever you like. And I'm more than happy to talk about it. God, thank you for this day. Thank you for being part of our lives. Thank you for helping us to see sin and to hate it, to know what it did to you, to know what it does to us, to know what it does to the people we care about, and to want to get over it. And I pray forgiveness for times we have needed accountability and needed confession and needed help from somebody, but we were too scared of them, too scared of the enemy, too scared of ourselves, too prideful, too arrogant to open up our mouth. And it caused the sin to grow like a cancer inside of us. It caused the issue. We felt that you were calling us to more, and we basically said no because we were too afraid to talk. Help us to get over that, because you've given us the resources we need. We can become more godly. We can become more successful. We can become more like you. It's there. We just haven't chosen to take you up on it. Help each one to get better. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, rock and roll. Let's tell you what, I'm going to sit down, and then we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. What's interesting to me about this kind of topic is that no one is immune. No one is immune to the struggle of not wanting accountability, right? I've been to plenty of pastors' meetings where you think this would be no-brainer. Yeah, it does. I mean, but at least it kind of looks the same. You know what I mean? It kind of looks the same. But yeah, it's like legitimately everyone struggles with this. You'd think it would be easy for pastors and elders and old people and people who've been Christians for a long time, or women that are really good at talking, or people that are you're really relational. But everybody struggles with this. Nobody wants to open up their lives to show their dirt, to explain their the skeletons in their closet. Nobody wants to. But as soon as people do, and there's probably people here who have done this, and there's probably people here whose lives have been changed because they were just willing to open up their mouth. And that just in that confession, just in being willing to bring someone else in, it literally changed your life. If you have that story, I would love to hear it, or just kind of say, yeah, my accountability partner changed my life. And if you haven't that, if you want to ask a question about it, you want to talk about something else, now's a great time. I stream from on here from usually 1 or 12 to 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then I jump into the entertaining content over on Twitch. But I love chatting. I'm all about that. I even chat during the games. Like I stop the game and I'll talk to you. I'm not here to just play or, talk. I want to be able to hear from you. Citizen Fortress says, I'll be honest, even with accountability, I've found it difficult to make any real lasting difference. I think that's just the aspect of how deep the addiction goes. I'm guessing, Citizen, that it has as much to do with a lack of willingness to be transparent. And I don't know you, and I'm not trying to offend you, but I know that one of the reasons that these things fail is because we treat these groups and these programs like we're gathering information. Like I'm going there to learn, and they're going to tell me a system, and they're going to tell me how to block some stuff, and they're going to tell me what I'm going to read, and they're going to tell me how to pray. They're going to give me this special journal and all that stuff, and then they amass a bunch of information, and that's only like 20% of it. 80% of the healing, comes because you were willing to open your mouth, show up to the meeting, and talk about your problems. Talk about what you did that week, in with detail, and with full transparency. The more secretive you are, the more you beat around the bush, the more you use code words, the more that you're like, I messed up this week. Oh yeah, I totally get that. The more that you just kind of choose not to share, the deeper rooted that sin stays. You want to get rid of it, you got to pull it out like a tooth. It's going to hurt, man. They got this abscess in your tooth and it's killing you. Well, you got to pull out the tooth, and that's going to hurt too. That's going to hurt too. Ukulele says, I think sometimes we opened up to the wrong people when we were younger and got burned, but we're not young and immature anymore. Maybe our peers aren't either. Well, and that's true. Great point. Yeah, like if you're burned on this kind of stuff, it's really hard to do. But I'll tell you, I made a commitment that I'm going to seek out my mentors, and I'm going to seek out people to talk to about this, and I'm not going to beat around the bush, and I am going to share. And one of the things I've noticed is that as I share and as I talk about this kind of stuff, I don't usually get, ew, gross, you're weird and gross. I usually get, yeah, me too. And wow, it's nice to meet somebody who is willing to talk about this stuff. I don't know many people who are. And then suddenly the relationship is way deeper, just simply because one party had the courage to jump into it and actually share something meaningful. Citizen says, I've been 12-step programs that help some, but simply an accountability partner hasn't made a huge impact. I think it's 100% the matter of the heart and faith. I'm such an accomplished tech. There's practically no possible way to block my access to things. But it's not about that, is it? Right? Not about that. Jesus could have full access to every website and it wouldn't be a problem, right? The issue, or a mature Christian who doesn't struggle with that could have full access and it wouldn't be a problem. The issue isn't the access. The issue is the desire, right? The desire that creates the longing in your heart, the longing in your heart that leads to the temptation that leads to you wanting to fulfill that desire in an unholy way, which leads to the death of your soul, which makes you feel crappy, which puts you back into the loop of feeling like you need comfort, which keeps you in the loop, right? That loop is what's killing you. How do you break the loop, right? It's a matter of and it's heart and faith. It's you got to open up about it to someone consistently. You confess. The way you break that cycle is confession. Literally, you confess to your wife, and you confess to your pastor, and you confess to your accountability partner, and you confess to your group, and you keep confessing. You keep dragging it into light till there's nothing left of it, right? You just keep pulling it out into the light, because it'll do two things. One, it'll be like, man, I don't want to tell everybody I did that this week, so I'm not going to do it. I just don't want to tell anybody, so I'm not going to do it. And the other side of it's going to be other people will increase their support for you. Other people will increase their prayer for you. You will see, and the sin will become realistic to you, right? You'll start to understand your own pattern. Oh, this happens every evening around whatever time after bed. I wonder how I can fix that. And now I've told 12 other people or whatever. It more often than not, I find that the dudes who really struggle with any of this kind of stuff, it it's because they have refused confession. They just don't tell people. And when they do tell people, they keep it secret. And they still don't tell people. Like, I have a porn addiction. Okay. When do you do it? And why do you do it? And what desire are you trying to fulfill? And what hunger do you have inside of you that's causing you to want to do it that way? And, how long? How long was your session? How long did you do it for? And where were you? Right? Where should you have been? What should you have been doing? Let's talk about that. Right? You're like, that hurts. I don't want to talk about that. Yeah, that's the point. That light, that willingness, that is what kills it. The more light you shed, the more you confess, that's what kills it. Right? That's what kills it. Carlos says, keep us in your prayers because we're preparing to be addicted. So we will be back in our car, but we do not have a plan, sort of. Have you been able to sell that car, Carla? Did you sell the car? Like the other car? The second car? Citizen Fortress says, the problem comes with how deep this is going to be. By deep, I mean how much focus and effort it requires. Do I really have the mental energy to commit that much energy every day, hour? For what? Can you explain what you mean? Because I think I know what you mean, Citizen. The problem comes with how deep is this going to go. By deep, I mean how much focus and effort it requires. What's it? Recovery? Accountability? Or doing the sin? Which one do you mean? Sam says, to be clear, most women have similar issues. It's just not the exact same medium. The mental space is the same, though, Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, and actually, it's one thing we learned when, 50 Shades came out and whatnot, is that there are plenty of women out there that are just as addicted and just as messed up with porn. It just doesn't look the same, right? Doesn't look the same. Carla said, we can't now. We have to live in it. Call me because the lady is lying to my pastor. She says we owe $11.92 and I gave her $4.49 last Friday. She's not counting that. That sucks. Well, I thought you had 2 cars though, Carla. Maybe I'm wrong. That sucks. I'm sorry. That feels bad. I feel bad that you're having to go through that again. Hey, Donnie. How you doing, my dude? How's work? What are you having for lunch today? Be right back. Yeah, it's those side pretends. Those only one, the van got repossessed. Okay. All right. So he got 1 car. I mean, that's okay. I've never had anything repossessed. Does that mean that they still make you pay for it? Do you pay less now? Like, how does that? I don't even know how that works. Do they give you money for it? Like, I have no idea how repossession works. But yeah, I mean, to the point, like literally, it really is the secrecy that's killing you, right? For example, fear. I don't want to talk to that person. They scare me. Or I don't want, I need to get out from under this. That person is hurting me. Or I am so deep in debt, I'm losing my marbles and I don't know what to do. And I'm going to, it's the keeping it secret that is killing you, right? Confess your debt. Confess your fear. Confess the abuse you're under. Confess your habit, open up about it and don't stop. Don't stop. Keep opening up about it. Granted, you don't just dump it on everybody because there's some people that are going to lose their mind and some people are going to gossip and whatever. So that's why I say we got to find some people within your circle, you know what I mean? That are cool. But more often than not, it's because of the secret, right? Like, you get yourself up to your eyeballs in debt. How? Well, because I didn't tell anybody, and I didn't want to look at it, and I didn't want to think about it, and I kept it into the dark and into the shadows and hoped it would go away. And it didn't, right? How do I keep myself in these terrible relationships? Well, I keep telling everyone to get lost, that I know what I'm doing, and I don't ever take advice, and now I don't talk to anybody who loves me or cares for me or wants to help me, because they all told me that I wasn't supposed to go in these relationships, and now I'm embarrassed, so I don't talk to anybody, and I stay in this horrible relationship, right? Legit. It's the lack of confession, lack of transparency, lack of openness, lack of willing to invite people into the process. That's what's killing you. Carla says, what we plan on doing now is working on getting another car and getting the title to this one. We're going to buy our new other car off Facebook Marketplace and then work on getting an RV. You're going to own 2 cars and an RV? Carla? That can't be right. I must read that wrong. Because how can someone who can't afford rent pay for a new car and an RV? Dragon says, as far as I know, repossession just means the bank takes it and then your debt is cleared. Yeah, is it cleared? Yeah, that's what I don't know. Donnie says, lunch today is McDonald's, not great but cheap and quick. Yep, works not too crazy. Been fighting with collision sensor in a Lincoln. Also, hello. Yeah, dude. Sensors, man. Car sensors. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the mechanic and I'm like, the light's on and it says explosion imminent, and they're like, it's the sensor. Maybe they should fix the sensors. I don't know, man. Because that guy charged me $130 to tell me that it was the sensor. No, when they repossess it, they resell it to somebody else and it goes against your credit. Oh, okay. All right. I guess that makes more sense. Used cars can be cheaper than rent if you know how to choose the right car. And that's why the word new was in there, and that's what kind of freaked me out. Because I saw the word new. We're getting a new car. I'm like, don't get a new car. I mean, let me see if I can get this in 200 characters, right? I've been addicted to prawn since I was 9, and it's only gotten worse. I have severe ADHD and only have so much mental energy to spend. Okay. Okay. I don't know, man. I'm trying not to be like, I'm trying not to be offensive and not to like get in your face, because I don't know you. You know, I don't live with you and I don't know you. I'm not your pastor. I'm not like, I'm just going off texts and things we've talked about a little bit in the past. So I got to be real careful, not assuming a ton of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm trying to navigate this as best I can. So be kind with what I say. Paintball says, paintball. That's funny. I'm going to call you paintball from now on. Jones says, someone should fix the sensors. Wait, wrong topic. Yeah. You should, sensors. See? Yeah. There you go. CE. I was going to say, that's the joke. Yeah, that's the joke. Fortress says, my addiction has been so bad that even just bouncing my eyes and trying to divert my thoughts doesn't work as well as I'd hope. Constantly saying, doing, looking at things I shouldn't be. I think bouncing the eyes is the worst part of that book. I don't think that's a good advice. What it does is it makes you resentful and angry. The bouncing the eyes makes you more angry and more resentful to the people you're trying not to look at. What it does is it's like, I can't go to the mall because I'm always like, I can't look anywhere. I hate people and I hate women and I hate girls and I hate fashion industry and I hate everything. And why is everything, it makes it horrible. It makes you resentful because the issue isn't, the issue isn't the external. It's not them. It's you, right? If you didn't have this problem, you could walk through the mall, same stuff, and not have a problem. It's you. So therefore, to externalize it, to bouncing the eyes, ends up making it everyone else's fault. That's just how it works. Your brain interprets that as everyone else is making my life worse. This sucks. So you drive yourself further into the dark, and you drive yourself further away from people, because all they're doing is trying to tempt you, and then you're so exhausted by bouncing the eyes. I don't believe in that. I get the concept, but I don't think that's the weakest part of the book to me. Yeah, okay, Dragon. Carla, we're going to save money to buy an older car off Facebook Marketplace, and then the TV home off Marketplace, or RV off Marketplace, but it will also give us a chance to save some money. Yeah, it sucks to live in your car. Living in an RV is a little bit is better. I just don't want to see you getting upside down on another loan. But Facebook Marketplace, they're not going to give you a loan. So yeah, I hope that works out and you find the right thing. Fortress says, I've found over the years that if I exceeded my available mental energy, then I get mentally wiped for the rest of the day. So I had to be selective about what I give attention to. So in short, I could focus solely on fighting this addiction, or I can dedicate my time and energy towards important life matters like work, home, marriage. I try to give energy to everything. I'm limited in what I can do mentally. I can't disagree with you because I don't know what it's like to live with ADHD. Okay, so I can't just go, that seems wrong. But I will say this. If you've got 10 things in your life, right, and one of them is like cancer that's going to kill you, then going, well, actually, I have to get to work first, or actually I have to make sure that that seems to me to be a misinterpretation of your priorities, right? It's like, if this thing's killing you, killing your joy, killing your marriage, killing your relationship with God, killing your ability to move forward, killing your ability to walk through the mall, it's literally destroying. It's eating everything, touching every part of your life and making it worse. Then, to me, it seems like dealing with that will improve all the other things that you're trying to focus on, right? Like, you say you're in a boat, and your little boat's going along, and you're like your anchor is dragging along the bottom, right? Well, you have a choice between, rearranging the furniture and giving everybody snacks and having conversations with everybody and working on the engine and whatnot, but none of that's gonna keep the boat from dragging along the bottom, and it's just getting worse because it's picking up more crap on the way. If you just go, you know what, everybody, I can't talk to you right now, and I can't, I'm not going to fix the engine. We got a big problem. We got this freaking anchor. Let's pull this sucker up and clean it off. Then then everything moves forward. Everybody goes faster. The whole group goes better. But if you don't deal with the anchor, everybody's affected. The whole boat is affected. Donnie says, oh yeah, everything is electronic on newer vehicles. Give me a 60s model. That's more mechanical. Yeah, well, true enough. Yeah. I have a friend who fixes cars, and he's like, yeah, I'm like, so if you buy a newer car, do they brake less? He's like, no. They just brake different. Joan says, yeah, there's something about avoiding nuisance lusts. I can't spell the word. That I really dislike. Like, it creates fear of everything. It really does. And it just makes bitterness and resentfulness and all that stuff. You just get angry at everybody because you think it's all their fault. Whereas if you deal with the root cause, why are you looking at it? It's not because it's so great. Why are you looking at it? The answer is, I'm lonely, very lonely, or I feel unattractive, or I am starving for touch and for sexual pleasure, or for physical intimacy. I haven't been hugged in however long, and I need some kind of physical comfort. Or I have I've built a chemical rut in my brain that makes it so that the only way that I can ever feel good about anything is that, because I've just been doing it forever, right? The issue isn't the porn. The issue is the reason why you're doing it. Because if you didn't have a reason to do it, you wouldn't. Because there are other things that you don't do, right? Like you're like, okay, I've got a problem with that. But do you have a problem with violent murder? Or not murder, violent anger? Like, is your problem that whenever you get mad, you go punch someone out or stab them or go out there and beat the hell out of someone? Like, do you have that issue? Because some people do, right? Their issue isn't, they don't think about porn. They don't think about any of that kind of stuff. What they think about is, how can I go through a day without decking someone and getting fired? That's their issue. For you, that's not a problem. For them, it is. The issue isn't whatever that is. The issue is, where does that come from? Sam says, I also have ADHD. I find that making something harder to get to helps a lot when trying to stop something, like putting cookies on the top shelf. Yeah, that's true. But again, if you're a network guy and it's internet porn, that's harder to do. Although, I would also say that as a network guy, you could solve that problem. If you know computers real good, you can also solve that problem, because you could lock it out. But what you're doing is you're saying, if I do that, if I do the lock that actually will work, it's going to inconvenience me in the future. It's going to be a problem in the future. Therefore, I can't do the thing that's actually going to work, because it's going to take up my RAM. It's going to make it so I can't access my router. It's going to make it so that my DNS doesn't work as good. So therefore, because of the inconvenience, I'm going to choose to not do the thing that would actually work. But if you're serious about it and you really want to block it off, then you could do it, right? For example, you don't get to use a computer that's not in the the kitchen, right? You have to turn the monitor and you take the door off your office. Your monitor has to face the door, and your office doesn't have a door on it. Well, it's inconvenient. Yeah, well, you want to get over it or not? Right? You lock everything down and you hand the password to someone else, and they pick it. It's like some awful thing of 26 characters, and you hand it off to somebody else, and you've never seen it. And you make their email address the one that is the recovery address, and you know how to lock yourself out. The question is, will you do the work? Chances are you'll convince yourself that it is inconvenient to do the work. And then you're stuck. Bro, when I go out in public, I actually take my glasses off because I know that I can't see with them on. That prevents me from seeing things that tempt me. Hey, dude. Again, it conveniences me, but it helps. That helps. It helps. So we go to, my nephew has ADHD. A lot of people do. Okay, that's correct, Samus. The problem with porn is that it's on the net. I'm a computer geek, so that's my profession and my drive, so placing restrictions are highly difficult without restricting what I need to do, the inconvenience thing. Then restrict what you need to do. Dang it. Put the restrictions on. Make your life worse. Okay, so here's the thing. If you are driving down the road and you're going too fast and you get pulled over, the cop is going to say, I am going to now inconvenience you by either taking away your car or taking away your money, because you did a bad thing. You must be inconvenienced, right? That's how justice works. So for you to go, I'm no longer allowed to have that anymore. I'm in the penalty box. Therefore, my life has to suck for a while because of what I did. So my life's going to be a little harder. Things aren't going to work nearly as good. I'm not going to be able to be as comfortable as I want to be because I did a bad thing. I am in the penalty box and I have to be inconvenienced, because that's what happens, right? That's what Jesus talks about when he says, better to pluck out your eye, cut off your hand than, have your soul in hell. The idea is how serious are you about killing that sin? Most of the time, people aren't very serious. If you were serious, you'd do it, right? turn your desk, knock out your door, give the password to someone else, lock it all out, right? Give your phone to your wife. Put a timer on the freaking power in your office or whatever. Give your phone to your wife and have her add all the children's blockers to it. So you don't even get a browser. But I need a browser. You're not allowed to have a browser. You're in the penalty box because you screwed up your life. So therefore you don't get it. You can't handle it. So therefore you don't get it. We treat you like a kid because you act like a kid. So therefore you don't get that. Lock it out. If you're serious, it's possible. Most of the people I know aren't that serious. If I may, James 1:5-6, alongside Proverbs 3:5-6, take responsibility for addiction, focus on God, give to Him. ADHD can be crazy, but it's not an excuse. You are in control. It's if you can externalize a lot of that control, it helps, right? I get that it's hard. It's hard, especially if it's that ingrained since you were 9. The question is, how serious are you? Are you serious about it? Because you could do external things that don't affect your ADHD, right? That's the thing. You could make it so that you have no access. And that way it's not taking up your ADHD and it's not taking up your mental space. It's like you're like putting yourself in a playpen, right? I can't fall out the door and I can't go eat poison because I'm stuck in a playpen. It's inconvenient. But that's the way it is. Now you can concentrate all you want on whatever you want. But again, you see this fortune. I could do that, but I would need someone as techie as me. That's the issue. You could. And there are. But the practical wall stuff, the real inconvenient stuff, you know what I mean? You got to do those if you're serious. Like, I'm not joking about turning your monitor and taking the door off your office. I'm serious about moving your computer to a public space, right? I'm serious about giving your phone over to your wife to punch in a code so that it doesn't work after 9 p.m. and you don't have a browser, right? And she gets the code and you can't get around it. And well, then I'll just use iTunes to reset it. Then delete iTunes, remove it, and set it so that you cannot download any apps on Windows. Oh, well, I know how to get around that. Neat. Then have your Wi-Fi turn off at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m. Well, I want to use the Netflix. Too bad. You're in the penalty box, right? Citizen, by saying ADHD makes it so it's impossible, you are speaking power to ADHD. You overcome porn addiction, part of your life. It's both and, Donnie, though. You gotta recognize it's both and, right? So there are some people who are can't remember the word. But anyway, like there's some people out there that alcohol hits way harder. Or that weed hits way harder, or there's some people out there that just because of the way they grew up, or because of whatever, controlling money, self-control, being angry, having whatever it is, it's harder for them. And you just got, for you, it's not hard. For them, it's hard. So we have to take into account the physiological and psychological difficulties that are part of addiction recovery or a part of spiritual recovery, whatever it is. You have to do that. You don't give it all, like you don't give it all the power. You don't just say, okay, well, that's why we can't fix it, and we're going to be like this forever. Right? It's that's part of it. Let's figure out how we overcome it. Let's figure out how we work around it. Let's be clear, this is a do both and. Yeah, it's both. Exactly. Yeah. The thing is, a lot of people Christians do the spiritual stuff. Well, I prayed about it. I prayed about it a whole bunch. And God went, okay, cool. Now stop. Now repent. right? Repentance means you turn around and go the other way. It means you actively go, like reconciliation, forgiveness, all the stuff that goes along with repentance is practical stuff, right? It's real stuff you have to do. Not trying to argue, only encourage. It's not easy. Addiction isn't easy. You got to agree with the extent. If you want to break it, you'll find a way. If you want to break it, you'll find a way. That's what it comes down to. It's how serious are you? And if you're not serious, don't stop. Don't lie to anybody. Don't lie to us. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to your wife. Don't lie to your counselor, your pastor, or yourself, or me. Just say, you know what? I want to look at porn. It brings me comfort. And I feel judged about it. It'd be nice if it went away immediately and it wasn't a problem, but I don't want to do the work. I don't want to figure all this stuff out, and I don't want to feel like a child, and it looks good and it feels good and I like it. So that's what I want. Okay? Just be honest. Because if you were serious, and I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to literally anybody who's struggling with any sin, citizen. This is a universal application. If you're serious, find a way. Because you can. You're not stupid. Right? Like, oh, I always eat too much. Don't buy that stuff. You can't have any cookies in your house, period, because then you can't eat them. Right? But then I'll go out and binge. Okay. So you go out and you binge, and then you come home, and there's no cookies in the house. So you can't have more, right? And then you're like, oh, man, I don't have any money. Yeah. Right? Okay, cool. Now your credit card, you got to give up your credit card. What? That sucks. Yeah. How serious are you? Ukulele says, do we solve the problem or do we manage the problem? Well, God changes the heart. I mean, I guess it depends on your perspective of addiction. Some people are like, you're an addict forever. And you'll never get over it. You're always in management mode. And there's some people that are like, no, you can get over it. You can get over it, and then it's not a problem anymore. I don't know where I stand on that, because when it comes to addiction, I don't have a lot of experience. But I would say that we have a responsibility to do what is necessary to set up our life in such a way that we don't sin in that area, and then we ask God to fix that problem and fix that desire in us. Desire is not bad. How we're fulfilling the desire is, right? Dragon, I live with 2 veterans, so I know it's possible to get over those things, but it's not easy. Yeah, it's possible. Sam says, I was driving, so I couldn't respond. What I was saying is what XN said, make it harder. It takes less mental energy to avoid doing the bad thing. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you don't have to think about it. Go, I'm not going to do porn. I'm not going to do porn. If you can't, or I want to have a cookie. I want to have a cookie. Well, I can't. There are no cookies, and my wife took the keys, and I don't have a credit card. So I guess I'll have a vegetable. If you want to encourage me, never tell me what I struggle with is an excuse. I try harder than most people do the same things they do with ease. I'll bust my butt, but don't sell me short. Dude, yeah, for sure. That's legit. It's true. Nobody should look at you and go, I completely understand how you feel, and everything you're saying is an excuse. Yeah, nobody should do that. And I haven't said that. I'm not saying it's not an excuse. I'm not saying it doesn't make it harder. I'm saying you could work around having to deal with that issue, right? Like Sam has said, right? Put the wall up. If it's buried in the backyard, you can't get it. You know what I mean? The question is, are you willing to put the wall up? Not making myself vulnerable because it's fun. I'm serious. Yeah. You have been amazingly brave being so open about your struggle. It's probably helping someone else far more than we'll ever know. True enough. Yeah. You get to be the punching bag, but other people get to help with the fight. Yeah. You're 100% correct. I'm willing to lock the whole dang thing down. I just got to figure out how to do it and not bury my family while I do it. Well, no. Wait. Ask your family to be buried with you. Okay? That's part of the confession thing. Hey, family. I suck. And I look at porn and I want to stop. And I don't want to do that anymore. And I want your help. And because I'm so freaking good at, you know, at computer stuff, means I got to lock some things out hardcore. Which means that I'm going to have this thing, whatever. The router is going to literally turn off with a crockpot timer every night, and we won't have internet between the hours of such and such. Okay, that would help me. I'm not saying we have to do it forever, but I am saying, can you guys help me for this period of time, 6 months from now until my birthday, whatever, so that we can lock this thing down, so I can deal with it, and we can figure this thing out. Yeah, and they'll if they love you, which by God's grace they do, they're like, all right, we'll figure that out, right? Then you negotiate and you find a way. Thankfully, God has blessed me with a tiny bit of maturity in the last few years. I feel that, man. Squeezing out the drops. What do you mean by bury? Oh, I mean zero access, right? So like whatever your issue is, you do what you can to remove triggers and access. It's never going to be perfect, right? We need God. God's got to be involved. But if you have an accountability partner that's looking over your shoulder, you've done what you can to reduce the triggers, you've done what you can to reduce access, and you've actively asked God to change your heart as you openly confess your sin to his people and to him, that's pretty much a recipe for success. Right? It's just that people don't like it. Well, I want to keep it a secret. Well, I don't want to be inconvenienced. You know, well, I'm strong enough. I'll just stop. I'll use my self-control. Clearly not. Right? It'll just be me and God. I don't have to tell anybody. Yes, you do. You show me the verse that says, keep it all to yourself and never tell anybody your sins. It's not in there. I promise. Right? Usually we just don't want one of those things. Yeah. If you had self-control, this wouldn't be a problem. For a long time, I had a hard time going to bed without my phone. And I would sit there and look at my phone, and then I'd have a crappy sleep, and I'd feel crappy. And so I asked my wife, hey, listen, can you put the child lock on so that I can't access my phone after the hour of 11 p.m.? I can't. I can get a text. And if I really want to mess around with the texting app, I suppose. And she did. Done. And then I couldn't access my phone. And it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem because I couldn't look at it. Pokemon Sleep? Please tell me that's a joke. It's not. What is Pokemon Sleep? Do you find yourself struggling to get energized in the morning? Has the same old bedtime routine grown tiresome? Now you can turn your sleep into entertainment with Pokemon Sleep. Play this game is simple. Just place your smartphone by your pillow, then go to sleep. Just like that, waking up in the morning becomes something you look forward to. Your adventure takes place on a small island where you'll carry out research on how Pokemon sleep. Okay. Let's watch that. Hold on. we have to do something now. Give me a second. Important things are afoot. Give me a trailer. Listen, we're going to do this in high definition. You're not going to keep it at 360. Give me the enhanced bit rate. I got to pay for an enhanced bit rate. No, you can't. I'm just going to not give you money to watch it at the same resolution as I can get for free. That's stupid. There you go. This isn't gaming. This is information gathering. It's totally different. So what do you do? Okay, so I want to get up at 6:30 a.m. I'm going to sleep now.
Good night.
And then you go to sleep now. And then you wake up in the morning. And there's a freaking Snorlax in there with you? That's a little weird. It seems like it might not be true. What? Alright, cool. You haven't told me anything yet. Commercial? Just tell me something. How does it work? What does the app look like? What do you get? How does the Pokemon show up? What's the system? Did you not make the app yet? Was this just an idea?
Morning.
It just gives you hallucinations? Nothing. I learned nothing. Absolutely freaking nothing. That's stupid. Give me a break, man. Look up how. No, I know, right? I'm like, come on. I was trying to get it easy within 2 minutes. You know how to like gameplay footage or whatever. Okay, fine, whatever. We'll look at it later. But that's kind of cool. I mean, at least if you like Pokemon, I guess. I'm not a Pokemon guy. Well, I was asking Christian what he meant by bury, but yes, that's the thing about sin. You've already put yourself in a position affecting everyone else. Yeah. Yep. Just you're already affecting your marriage. You're already affecting your relationship with your kid. You're already affecting your relationship with your church. It's already happening. So instead of happening it negatively, where you're doing it and they don't even barely know, but it's also happening, you can go, hey, I'm going to inconvenience you, but like live, and you can tell what it is, which is better. Yeah. Okay, well, it's 2:00. That was a long conversation. What I do now is I'm going to jump over to Twitch. I'm going to fire up the old game. We can keep the conversation going if you want to, but I think we've basically trodden over Citizen Fortress's joy enough today. Hopefully you were used as a good example for others. You know what I mean? That's the hope anyway. And if that's what we got, that's what we got. I'm going to shut her down. Yeah, I links don't work. I'm going to I'll see you guys over on Twitch. We're gonna play Honkai Star Rail. I know that's not everybody's favorite thing, but I tell you what, the story is really interesting, and we're only gonna do the story. I'm not gonna sit there and only do battles or whatever. We're gonna try to see what's happening in the story. So I'll see you guys over there. Please tell your friends. Tell them that we're doing this. And by the way, if you are listening, it would really help me if you would take that playlist that I have, it's called the fundraiser playlist, and just play it in the background on your stream or on your computer, so that it just ups my watch hours. It would help, and then I would be able to maybe get to have the extra things when I reach 500 subscribers. It would help me out. Anyway. All right. Thanks, dudes. I will see you over on Twitch real soon.